In this video I have one of these little cheapo boomboxes, laser brand. It's got a CD in the top. What do? Just lift it. Bit of dust in there, that hasn't been used for a while. And a radio, a couple of speakers on the sides. Only a little cheapo thing. Here's a proper boombox I think, because you can run it on batteries if you want to. Do we need to leave that off? We probably do. And yeah, just basic radio. Now I've got an auxiliary CD, so I assume that auxiliary socket just cuts the CD player when you plug it in. And this is just one that belongs to my mum, and that was all you could buy there for a while, I think, was little radios like this. And she just uses it as a radio on Headphone, and it's starting to play up, one of the channels dropping out. And if you fiddle around with it, you can sort of get it back and stuff, so it's a bit dodgy on that socket. Not sure if that auxiliary socket's going to be the same, because I was thinking maybe I could swap them. But that one has a switch in it to turn off the internal speakers. The fact that one may cut in the CD may mean it is the same socket, so we might be able to just swap them over. But yeah, otherwise they were pretty much a disposable sort of unit. But if worst comes to worst, I'll give her one of my little transistor radios to use. But I thought we might as well try and fix this thing, as at least she knows how to use this one, and it's not something new and different. So I'll see if we get this thing apart easily. 2 screws there, one's out. And is that it? Right, it doesn't do a thing of course. Let's have a look under here, just make sure there's nothing. No. Might as well clean out the dust, and there's something hiding under the, yeah, the handle. Always move everything that moves and lifts up and whatever, because they're always hidden under that sort of thing. Can actually get a bigger screwdriver in there, so that's short of black ones. Adjust. I thought those holes were a bit small, but that Stanley screwdriver's got a different sort of tip on it, so not ideal. So now I've got 5 screws out of it. Oh, that just comes apart. Wow, sort of. And let's see. Now they are the same sort of sockets. Both got switches in them. 4 ohm 2 watt speakers, power transformer there. Little tape mechanism, little CD mech there. What sort of lasers this thing got in it? One of these more modern types, don't really know the numbers on those. So not a lot to it, but we should be able to just take this board out and swap the sockets over. Are they the same? Yeah, looks like they are. That's a bonus. Yeah, I didn't realise, I thought, oh, this other one won't be a switcher, but she only uses it for headphones, so I was going to, if worst comes to worst, put one without a switch in it, but we've got 3 connections there for speaker output, but then we've actually got 6 pins there for the switch, and it just unplugged itself. I assume one of the speaker wires, red and black, come up here to there, white and black. So that's the speakers, that's probably the audio output of the amp. Certainly goes back to the main board. And usually these are run, there's nothing actually there, I don't think. I thought usually it's some sort of resistors to drop the volume down. Maybe they don't even bother. Oh, there's a couple of resistors. So we've got an inductor L5, R131, L4, R119. And I can't quite see how it's switched, but anyway, the speakers are switched through. When you put your plug in there, it pushes on something. These later ones actually have a little mechanical switch. The early ones used to actually have prongs, bits of metal in there, and as you push the plug in, the switch part, which would come in, would be disconnected from the part as the actual tip of your headphone socket came in. It would physically spring bits of metal, which the ones that pressed against these and connected to them would also bend and disconnect from other contacts in there, so like the ones that would go off to the speakers. So when you put it in, it would break the contacts. These, I think, actually have a physical switch in the back that is just pressed on. So probably the very tip of that plug presses in onto something, and the 3 prongs that actually contact the headphone socket don't do any more than just contact it. So in a way, it's kind of odd that it's playing up at all. I think you can actually, maybe not, some of these you could actually take the covers off. I've had to do oddball ones in the past, so you actually pull the socket apart and try and fix it because they weren't available or something. Oh, I guess that board actually unplugs, doesn't it? Amazingly, it's actually got plugs. We better, and the whole thing's coming off there. Better mark which one's which, because they like to use the same size ones. Just to be sure, even though it's not a big deal if you get around the wrong way anyway, I wouldn't think. But it's bringing the little bass piece up with it. That's better. Sometimes you got to press down on that. So it's really just a matter of desoldering. It actually tells you here what's on it as well. Right speaker negative, right ground, left speaker negative. Out, in, ground, right, left, and that's probably the, what's it name, left plus, right plus, so that must be, that's our amp in, that's our auxiliary in. Of course, there would be out and in, because it's got to cut the CD off as well, and that one's fully populated. So what are the extra pins there for? That's got ground, left and right. Unless this does have some physical switching in as well, because this other one's got a couple of pins that are not used, so shame we can't just change those plugs around to save unsoldering anything. But we can't really just plug into one socket instead of the other. There's probably a way of doing it. If you wanted to pull the pins out of the connectors, you could probably make it so you could just have the speakers outputs going into the other socket. But it shouldn't take long to unsolder one of these, especially since we can probably do a couple of pins at a time. And I might even block off that socket because she never uses the auxiliary in. Because there's no point soldering the old faulty socket back in. Now I better make a note of which socket's which as well. That should be the headphone one at the back. Where are we there? Almost impossible to read. Phone. So this one here, if we can get it out, is junk. Just being careful to make sure all the pins are coming with it. So that's a little switch in the back. Yeah, I wonder if it, maybe it does have switch contacts in there after I said all that. Maybe there is actually some switching through the socket as well. On top of the switching on the back of it. Just being careful, make sure all those pins are loose. I think they're all coming. One of them seems a bit reluctant. Sometimes you just got to give them a bit of a flick to break the last bit of solder. Check that they're actually loose. I think they are. Just a bit fiddly, and I just don't want to force anything until I know it's coming. Might be a bit of solder on those leads somewhere still. Nope, she's fine. Oh, it does say phone next to one anyway, so let's put the auxiliary in the phone position. do it. And that's the speakers. I might even leave them unplugged. Maybe we'll put them in just for testing purposes, make sure everything works. Where's our screw on? Yeah, so we have two channels there. Yeah, that's fine. I better give it a bit of a wobble, I guess. Yeah, much better. So just a simple, quick repair to save something from going in the rubbish. Not even sure what you can buy in the way of these things these days, but no point importing another piece of cheap junk like this if this one can last a bit longer. And to be fair, it's done alright. I think it's quite a few years old now, I think. But I don't know how many times the headphones have actually been unplugged or whatever. Maybe they got bumped or something, pulled on a bit, I guess. So it's not like it's had 100 plug-ins and plug-outs sort of thing. But it's one of the reasons I also tend to save headphone sockets out of old units that I scrap, because they come in handy for this sort of thing. I think that's a fairly standard sort of layout one. But yeah, we'll chuck that one in the rubbish. Don't know if I can see down there at all whether one of the contacts is just got bent or whatever, or it's tarnished. But anyway, I'll put that back together and hopefully that'll keep it going for as many years as it's already gone. So thanks for watching.